Hey fellas, welcome back to another NRL Fantasy Fanatics video. Today we have a part two of rating your NRL fantasy teams, and we've got 9 or 10 teams today. So without further ado, hang on. I'm with joined by Will. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Our first team is one sent on Instagram, Dan's team. And if you can picture it on the right, I've just got some overall comments on the left, so I'll read through those. Yeah, it looks solid, but as you can see, he's got four Storm players: Grant, Howarth, Munster, and Pappenhausen, which could be an issue due to the bye in round two. So what I'd recommend, like before we get started, these are just our opinions and recommendations. You don't have to listen to them, but if you're watching and this is your team, then just listen to what we're saying and do what you want. So what I reckon you could do is make Mamazolis your starting hooker because he's on your bench, and then downgrade get Grant to a mid-range option. I reckon a Garrick maybe, and then you put Garrick in the centers instead of Toya, and then upgrade Aaron Clark to Terrell May as he's a must-have at the moment. But bench looks solid. Those are the only changes I'd make. So what do you reckon about that, Will?
Personally, I think that Aaron Clark's a pretty interesting option. He is starting 13 this week with Dylan Walker in about the 28 jersey, and I think if Aaron Clark gets that spot at 13, I think he's one that I'll look very interested closely at to bring in my team. So if I was him, I would probably look to get rid of a Storm player, but I don't think it'd be Grant. I think it would probably be a Pappenhausen, maybe to a Jareem Buller, who's someone that looks pretty good, and I'd also look at maybe a Joe Tarpany or a Ruben Garrick, Ruben Cotter, who are two very good players, but I just think that Terrell May has more value than both of them and has been more consistent than both of them. If you know what I mean.
Maybe not a Joey Tarpany, but Cotter. I like both of them. But I've actually, in season, I reckon Aaron Clark will be in the 15 spot. And then um
Yeah,
I think it'll be Freddie Lussick 14, Aaron Clark 15, then Tom Ale 17, 16, and Jackson Ford 17,
if
which means that's two edges and a middle. So that takes us hook and a hooker. That takes us hooker spot and his mid as well in Tom Ale. So I just don't think he gets many minutes. That's my problem.
if he's off the bench, I wouldn't have him. But if he's starting, I think he's close to a very very good option.
Yeah, or just you just have to wait, but I don't think he'll
Yeah,
start. Next team we have is Benjamin. Hang on, see if I can move this at all. There we go. Benjamin's team. Yeah, once again, another a very solid team with a few interesting picks, which I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of some of them. Just starting, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of Cobbo. I think there's a big risk with him. He's about 550K, and what I reckon you should do is downgrade Cobbo to maybe a Tamale or a Toya, as you don't have either. And then you can maybe upgrade Metcalf to a proven gun like Luai or Munster, as I think they'll do well this year. And then with the remaining cash, you could just either bank it or just look to upgrade other spots in your team. So what do you reckon about that?
I do think that Munster's a must-have to start with for round one, especially considering you have no other Storm players anywhere else. And yeah, I like his middle. I like his team a lot actually. I do think Luke Metcalf will be interesting this year. He should have the goal kicking, but and pretty much be the main kicker. But I'd look to get rid of Cobbo and I'd look to get rid of Tom Gilbert. I don't really like Tom Gilbert coming off back-to-back ACL injuries. I think it'll take him a while to get back into what he can do. And I think there's a couple more players with more value. Like he don't have a Royce Hunt there, so you could look at a Tom Gilbert down to a Royce Hunt and a Cobbo up to a proven gun there. But
Yeah,
other than that, I think I really like what he's doing.
yeah. I think his bench is pretty solid. I'm actually a fan of Tom Gilbert, even though he has had his ACL injuries. I think he's gonna hopefully stay injury free, and if he does, he could do very well. But
I'd
yeah,
only keep
if you
Kobe
do,
Heffrington if he's starting.
yeah,
Definitely not for
hopefully he
bench.
can lock in. Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Gilbert, if he does do Gilbert to Royce Hunt, he can go Cobbo to Lucas or Cobbo to Bo Firma, even though Bo's out for round one with a bye. But otherwise, yeah, team looks pretty solid. I'm a big fan. Next team we have is Carter, and this one's another interesting one. Um, I look at the bench and I can't see any problems. Only problem is Finifaliaki. Hopefully he gets a starting role. I just don't think he does because I feel like Lemu will come back for round one after a shoulder injury, and that will probably see Finifaliaki on the bench. And other thing is, you got 1K, but you could you obviously can't go Amone to Royce Hunt straight away because Royce Hunt's a bit more expensive. But what you could do to afford it is swap Mamazilis for Starling and then downgrade Starling for Pakes or Moser, depending on which one you think will be better. And then go Amone to Royce Hunt and then bank for rest of the cash. So what do you reckon about that, Will?
I really don't like Nafu White this year. I don't understand what the hype around him is. Like, if he starts, he's definitely a great option, but I just don't think he'll start considering they've got Lenu at 8, Watson at Lindsay Collins at 10, Radley at 13, and then I think when Smith's back, it's even less minutes for White with Watson probably moving back to the middle rotation. So if I was looking at him, I'd probably go a White down to a Royce Hunt, and then look to maybe upgrade a Tom Starling too, probably a gun for 600 odd K. But other than that, I think it's a really interesting team. I'm a massive fan of Tom Starling last year. Again, I only
Yeah.
think you can look at Tom Starling if he's starting, and same with Kelma Tuolangi. And let's hope Robert Toya starts, but who knows what's going to happen with him.
Starling,
Other than that,
Starling
I really
should
like.
start. I think Starling would be 9 and Levi be 14. But I could see Starling getting 50 to 60 minutes and Levi coming in for a little stint of about 20 at the end.
Never
But
with
like we just have to wait and see.
yeah.
Hopgood. I like Hopgood. He's a beast. He's been a beast for the last 3 years. He shouldn't be injured for round one, which is good. It says he's injured, but I don't think he will be. Mid-edge duel, pretty pricey, but you know what you're getting with him. I'm a big fan of him. There's just no Terrell. Oh no, there is a Terrell May. I'm a big fan of Jermaine Hopgood. What about you?
I don't. I reckon he'll do well, but I think when you got that many good middles, like 100 more K, you can go up to or 130 more K, you can go up to a Yo. Even in the middle, you can look at a Adam Fanua Blake, a Carrigan, or like I think Cam Murray for the same price or cheaper than Jermaine Hopgood is probably the reason that I am not going for a Jermaine Hopgood this year, as I think that he just has more value than him, and he's just a proven gun, Cam Murray.
Yeah. The only thing I love about Hopgood is the amount of offloads he gives out. Like
Yeah.
a few a game. He's an absolute genius at them. But
But
Carter, what were you saying, sorry?
if he's going to look to if he wants edge cover, I would almost look to getting rid of both White and Finafuiaki, bringing in a Matty Nicholson, who's someone I'm very interested in. I think he should start. Looks like a very good player. And then with the leftover money, you look like you could, and then just go for the Royce Hunt and probably just bank the rest of the cash because I think the rest of your team looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree. I personally think Matty Nicholson will start 17 for the first round, but we'll see.
I do think
Time will
Hoskins
tell.
out with the calf is in doubt at least.
Yeah, I think he should come back for round one. Next we got Kent's team, and this is sent a bit longer, so just just bear with us. Only thing I'd say is I'm not too sure on Liam Henry. Uh, he does have a dual position, which might attract some people, but I think he'll be playing 15, and he's already got Luke Garner and Sorensen on the bench who can both play edge. And I just not too sure about his minutes with Liam Martin and Isaiah Papali'i in the team as well. And he's also pretty pricey as well. It's not like he's a cheapie or it's not like he's a cheapie or anything. I'm just not a fan of Liam Henry. What about you?
Who's going to start over him? Because if he can get the spot over Lindsay Smith, a prop, I think he's a cracking option.
Um, I think it'll be Moses Leota 8, and then Lindsay Smith 10, and then Isaiah Papali'i, Liam Martin, and then Isaiah Yo with Scott Sorensen, Liam Henry, and Luke Garner. So.
But
That's what I reckon it'll be.
if he gets that spot, I'm all for him.
Yeah, but again, it'll be tough. We'll just have to wait.
Yeah,
But
very nice.
other than that, yeah,
I
very
like
nice team. Other than that,
I like the Garrick move.
um,
I really don't like Tom Gilbert this year. I don't know what the hype is around him. He's coming off two ACLs. I think why is everyone looking to bring him in straight away? I'd look at least give him a month to get back to some of his best footy. So I'd look to probably downgrade Tommy Gilbert to a Matty Nicholson. But that's probably the only move I'd look to make.
yeah, I'm only attracted to Tom Gilbert because he's dual position at 500k, but he probably is a bit of a wait and see. But it's just up to you. Next team we have is Tyson. Um, let me move that. We have Tyson. Tyson's team. Starting hookers Brendan Hands, who I'm not a fan of with Lussick in the 14 role. And with Lussick in the team, he averages. Oh, I did have it on footy statistics, but I did. His break even's 30, and he's going to need to average about 45 points to make any decent money that you take, which I can't see him doing. And he averages 36 with Lussick in the team as well. So I'm just not a big fan of Brendan Hands. What about you, Will?
Yeah, nah. Start Peter Mamazoulis if you have to over him.
Yeah, that's what I reckon as well. Rest of the team looks solid. Fisher Harris, maybe in a new squad, he might need a bit to, work his way in and score well. But otherwise, I can't see too many problems with it. Yeah, pretty solid team. I love Corey Horsburgh off the bench. That's great. But what do you have any other comments?
Yeah, well, I do think Fisher averaged another 5 points in non-injury affected games last year. Uh, we've already spoken about my kind of thoughts on Nafu White, who I'd look to get rid of. But for me, I'd almost move Corey up to starting middle and uh, get rid of Cotter. And if you're having no Storm players here, I'd look to either bring in a get rid of Cotter and bring in a gun center, so you don't have to rely on Toya in a Lucas or Fermor, and maybe just play one of Purdue or Toya in the centers for round one. But the one move that I would really make is looking at bringing in a who was it? Okay, Cameron Munster with no Storm players there. I think he's a must have and a lot of value.
Yeah, look, I don't think Storm players are completely essential. This guy's probably waiting for round three to get him in, which is completely understandable to assess how they go in round one, which is, yeah, understandable. Um, Look, there's no drastic changes that have to be made, really. If you want to move around some edges or middles, then that's up to you. But really, team's pretty solid. Next team is Chapertime, who is from Instagram. Gee, I can't move that. Yeah, big fan of a team. He's got a few interesting picks in there, which I'm a big fan of, and don't mind them at all. He's got Marshall King and Hopgood, who will both play round one, in my opinion, even though they're both listed as injured. They'll both play, and they're great selections because of that. No Yo might be a problem, but if you can't get him, you can't get him, which is fine. But if you can, like, manipulate the team and somehow get him, he's almost getting to a must-have, Yo. But for now, it's a great team. Yeah. He's got Charlie Geimer, who I'm a big fan of. He's in my team. Stafford Toa, Munro, and Toya. So for now, I probably wouldn't change anything. What are your thoughts, Will?
Well, I mean, I'm not massive on Tom Gilbert at all. I am hearing rumors though that
Said that a few times.
Jack Goyeski or whatever is going to start for the Broncos in round one
Hmm.
over what's his face?
Piakura.
Yeah, Piakura. So if that's the
Yeah.
fact, I would almost look to downgrade Gilbert to him and maybe look
Hmm.
to improve like a Robert Toya or someone that I would think a Robert Toya to a good center. Or but someone a move that I would look at making is a Jeremy Marshall King to a keeper hooker for the rest of the season. But other than that, I
Jeremy
think
Marshall King is a keeper hooker. He could easily be a keeper hooker. Jeremy Marshall King is fine. He's great. I had Jeremy Marshall King in my team for a while. I mean, preseason wise, I think he's a good option. I think just leave him in.
I'd
But
also look to
look, it's
downgrade a Blaze Talangi, who someone I was a bit hot on for a while, but looking at his stats, he just scores so much better at fullback than the other 5'8". And one of the main reasons for this is that I think he has two flaws in his game. Is He misses too many tackles at 5'8". I think he's going to average around 4 to 7 missed tackles a game, and he just relies on the attacking stats at 5'8" with no real base and kind of having to think. I think he'll probably get only 3 or so points in kick meters, if that. And yeah, we all know what he can do on the attacking side, but I just think if he was 250k, all for it. But at 450k, I think there's too much risk to make with his defensive mindset out there that I'd almost look to downgrade him to a mark from the Roosters and yeah, look to upgrade elsewhere.
I have Blaze Talangi for the sole reason that he'll get a wing for like half duel. And you mentioned he relies on attacking stats. He's got some of the best players in the comp around him. He'll naturally get more attacking stats, which is why I have him. But I get what you're saying about his missed tackles and errors and all that, but
He's someone that I
I'm a
would
big fan
say
of him.
is a little bit like Ezra Mam, who very good attacking player, but has never been fantasy relevant because he misses so many tackles.
Yeah. I think Blaze is a good option, but each to their own. Next team is Nicholas. Um, this is an interesting one. I'll just move this up here. This is an interesting one. I think it could use a little reformatting. I first looked at this team and I couldn't believe that he actually could afford it based on the bench and the starting team. I just couldn't believe he afforded it. But he's got 8K in the bank somehow. Um, you've already got Yo, and if you have Yo, you typically wouldn't have Haas, and Yo is a significantly better option anyway for round one. So I'd axe Haas, and I'd probably ditch Fogarty as well. Fogarty or Burton, it's up to you, but you have plenty of half coverage already with Munster, Anstead, and Smith. So I'd probably get rid of Fogarty or Burton, and also Haas to downgrade to some mid-range options in really any position. And then you can use that heaps of cash to upgrade your team. You could almost go Mama Zulus to like a proven gun hooker like Robson Grant. Um, that's just what I reckon. He's got a lot of like, almost too many expensive players, and he could upgrade the rest of his team. What do you reckon, Will?
Honestly, if you can fit them all in, now one change I'd make looking at this is Burbo to Jack Bird. But other than that, if you can fit in, if you told me at the start of the season someone could fit in Terrell May, Connor Watson, Isaiah Yeo, Pavali, Cleary, Burton, Farnworth, Latrell, Haas, Fogarty, Preston, that's 11 keepers there. I'd say go for it. And someone that could be 12 in a Cameron Munster, I think set your team up for very good for the season. And like he won't have to touch that middle position again. And if he wants a gun hooker, Connor Watson's going to get that dual position.
Yeah,
So you can just move him up to the hooking position. So I think good on him for fitting us all in. And yeah, one move I would make is Burbo to Jack Bird. But other than that, mate, keep the team how it is. Maybe look at other
yeah,
players like if you want to pod, maybe go AFB over a Haas, for example. But I wouldn't look to downgrade Haas at all because I don't really think there's much else you can really upgrade because I think there's going to be enough cash cows for you to do well this year. Maybe a
mm.
Herbie because I
I
think a little bit overpriced. Maybe look at a Bo Firm or a Dylan Lucas. But other than that,
yeah, I'd honestly still go half to a cheaper mid, and then go Mama Zulus to like a Marshall King, even someone more expensive. But I feel like that would complete the team. But as is, I just couldn't believe he fit it all in. So yeah, good on him. Next team, this is Ryan sent on the computer. Um, big fan. May Murray Yo is some of the best mids you can get. Papali, Howarth, Cleary, Munster, Bird, Purdue, great wing fullbacks. Only problem for me is Aaron Clark, just because of a minute's risk. Like I said before, I think he'll be 15, and he's surrounded by Freddie Lussick, who's a hooker, and a mid in Tom Ale, who will get some minutes. And yeah, not the biggest fan of Aaron Clark. You'll just have to wait and see. But what I do, as I explained here, is swap Mamazulis for Aaron Clark, then downgrade Clark to a cheapie of your choice, maybe a Tamale, and then use that money to upgrade Cole, when I made this PowerPoint, I didn't realize that Cole will probably play, so you don't really have to get rid of Cole. Luke Lua he's my problem because I don't he's not going to play at all, I don't think. So you could just look at another cheapie for Lua, but otherwise it's pretty solid. What do you reckon, Will?
I think the emergencies need a bit of work in. I think Cole's got to go. Lat Luali'i and El Tonga. Just like I think there's enough people like you can go for it. Amoni probably a as you said a Jack Gorkeski. I would maybe look to move Howarth down to the center position and bring in a Jack Gorkeski in the edge position just because he's starting and I
Gorchevsky,
do
man.
think that Jackson Purdy may not start in round one. I do think if Aaron,
Mm.
again, I've already said if Aaron Clark starts, I think he's a very good option. But I think it's one you probably just wait on Aaron Clark. But if he is out, I'd look, yeah, start Mamazulis and upgrade him and Cole to 350k players. I think I'd maybe look at a mark for your team to finish off there as good wing fullback cover as you don't really have any there
No.
because I don't think Luke Lalungi is going to play.
You butchered pronunciations there, but yeah. Overall solid team. Yeah, like I'd said, probably swap Mamazulis for Clark, downgrade Clark, and then upgrade Cole and Luke, and you should be sweet to go. So that's a solid one. And last team, I think I had to reformat it since it's so big, but this is James's team, sent on the computer as well. Once again, I can't really see too many faults in there. Love Dylan Lucas. Um, Once again, Aaron Clark, not a fan, as I've said before. Probably move him on if you can. And then you've also got Bunty Afoa, which is one of the more interesting picks I've seen this year, as there's no chance in how he plays. And he's not, it's just, I don't know, maybe he did it to fill a spot, but not a big fan of Bunty because just don't think he'll play. Another interesting thing is Terrell May captaincy, which, look, that's bold, but it could pay off. I just give him, cause it'll be his first game. I just give him a few weeks to settle in before captaining him. But I don't mind it really. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, very good team here, to be honest. I do think Terrell May captaincy is very good. As I think the Tigers, they need the size there, but I do think Cleary's just a set and forget captain for the rest of the season. But I mean, I've spoken about Aaron Clark. I think he's a good option if he starts. If he's on the bench, I wouldn't look at him. I would look again. You have to bring in another middle, but I'd maybe look to downgrade Kelma Tuolangi to a Jack Goweski, and then look to upgrade Aaron
Chevsky, man.
Clark to a Corey Horsburgh or a Connor Watson maybe. Fina Fuiaki, someone we told hasn't played. I'd also look at a Matty Nicholson there, and if I would get rid of Blaze Tuolangi and bring in a Mark Nawakikiski, wherever you say his name, and look for that second center there as I don't think Robert Toy is going to play. Yeah, along with Bunty having to go and look at a Tom Amoni, probably for your team.
Yeah. Um, I don't. Well, we've got conflicting views, but I don't think you have to touch Blaze Talangi. I think your wing fullbacks, centers, halves, edges, mids, and hooker. The only thing I'd change is your mid, Aaron Clark,
Well,
and maybe like you said,
Robert Toy is not going to
Finifil.
start.
Yeah. Look, Jesse McLean. I don't think he will either. Neither will Jackson Purdue. I think Jesse McLean will get his spot taken by his brother Casey, and I think Purdue doesn't slot in because I've got Valemi, Labut, Violea, and Talangi from 2 to 5, so I just don't
He's in
see
the
Purdue.
chance to play seven over Clifford. Is
Oh,
Jackson?
correct. Um, yeah, pretty solid team. Look, there's no major changes you have to do at the minute, so probably just wait closer um to the season. But yeah, um, that's all we got for you today, fellas. That's 9 teams. Overall, the teams we've been sent in have been great. And yeah, so thanks for all the support, all the new followers. Welcome. And any final comments, Will?
Not really at all. Yeah, teams have looked relatively good. Just quickly, let's go through my team very quickly and the changes I've made, and give me your thoughts on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'll talk through it first. I mean, I think Peter Mamazoulis is not one I'm going to start with. I think it'll be Connor Watson, who which is why he's on my bench as that dual hooking role there. I'm pretty happy with how the middles are shaping out, especially if I've got Connor Watson there as coverage. Only problem with me is Corey Horsburgh might not start. Like the edges, I'm big on Matty Nicholson, as I think if he starts, he'll score well, as he is a very good player. Like the halves. I've gone for a gun centre in Bo Fermor. Could be Dylan Lucas if he gets around one spot. But for me, I've gone with
Yeah.
Fermor just because I do think that Fermor has been a proven gun, and I think that some centre positions a position has let me down in the last couple of years. And I know that if I go with Jack Bird and Fermor having two players that don't play centre, and that's what I try to do in the centres. Personally, I really
Hmm.
like my wing fullbacks. I think Mark will have a season. I like Iongi, and we all know what Latrell Mitchell can
Longy.
do. Sandon Smith, someone who I
Yeah.
think will make a couple dollars for me, and Royce Hunt, someone that I think is megally underpriced. I got Woods in there as a looper, as the Bulldogs have pretty late draws early on, and then from there onwards, I got Munro as my wing fullback, as I think he could be a good cover for me. And then I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm doing a centre loop if I do go with both Thermal in Tamale and Purdue, hoping they both play. What are your thoughts on this team?
Yeah, that's a lot of words. Um, I like it. I wouldn't change too much. Um, Matty Nicholson, hopefully he starts. If he does start, he's a great option for that price. He came from a Super League, didn't he?
Yeah,
Matty Nicholson. Yeah, he was apparently very good in there. I didn't watch him, but
yeah, he's a
very
gun.
good. Um, yeah, I can't find too much. I would say your fullbacks are wing fullbacks are lacking, but you got Latrell Mitchell, so I don't think they are. Um, yeah, big fan. I can't really see any faults, so I like Matty Nicholson, Firmer as some pods, which is good. So yeah, rate the team, mate.
Yeah, sweet as.
Um,
I think that's pretty much all we got time for today. Thanks for all the support again, guys, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
yep, see you fellas.